Hello all, this is Rajesh Balraj. Welcome to my YouTube channel Defreeze Coding. This is the fifth video of the electric trend series. Uh, let's take a minute, uh, review the business case, and then we can get started. Pause this video, review it, and then we can proceed. Okay. Uh, let's Okay, in the last video, right, so we were able to create an uninitialized async method. In this method, right, we were able to uh, make a call to the database, get the data, and then convert it to a JSON, convert the JSON string into an uh, object model, and then we were able to display the count on the console. That's where we stopped. In today's video, we're going to look at the chart. Uh, I did some research and I was able to find a free chart library. This is Blazor-ApexCharts. This is a free library. We can go ahead and use it. It provides a different kinds of chart options. But today's video we will be focusing on the line chart. We will go ahead and create a line chart for the electric trend. If you go to this link, right, we have the package for this Blazor-ApexChart. Let's go ahead and add this package. Let's navigate to the web client, not the web. So yeah, let's go ahead and add it. Let's go ahead and add this package. Okay, let's see. Oh, not here. So it should be under packages. Yeah, there it is. Let's and this right. A couple of things they have said. So we have to use go to imports underscore razor and then add this one here. Go to imports razor and add this one. Since right the first on the first page load will be on the server side, right, we have to do the same change in the server side too. So let's go ahead and go to www. Okay, components, pages, and then you see one more import underscore razor. Let's add this here. We may need to add the okay. I think we don't need it. So because we don't need to add the package because right we have added the client as the project reference, so we don't need to add the Blazor chart one more time in the server project. Just add it in the Apex chart in the imports razor, then we should be all set. Let's go back here. So there are two pieces, right? This is the chart piece, and then this is the code behind. Let's go ahead and test it out. Let's copy this one. Go to our trend. Okay, trend.razor. Add this here. Couple of changes we have to make. So let's start. We have to include the using statement, this using statement, ASP.NET core.web.web, and then render mode. We have to make this render mode as an interactive auto. And then this one is throwing up warnings because right, it's not able to recognize this. So we need to add the using statement Apex charts. Okay, I have copied the razor tags. If you see any warnings, right, so I would suggest right go to your the client, web client, bin debug .NET 0, there will be a uh, dot project dot razor.cs file, and go ahead and delete it. That could fix the issue. So I will show it to you in a minute. We got the razor tags here. The next piece is right. Go back to the code behind. So we would need. We'll start with the my data class. Let's go ahead and copy this class. The next one we need a variable on the list. The next one we need a list variable. Let's go ahead and copy that. And then we need to do data initialization. Let's go ahead and copy this one. So before we move further, right, so I would like to show you something. So if you, I'll post this link in the description. If you go to this component re-rendering piece, right, let's look at this diagram, right. Whenever a component gets initialized first time, this is the first render only, right, we have these two methods get initialized. So one of them is on initialized async. So on initialized, it could be synchronous or asynchronous. It will be initialized only once. And then we have the on parameter set that will be initialized for different parameters. And then we have the state has changed, right? This is the one that needs to be called if you want to do a DOM update. If some data is changed, you want to refresh the DOM, then we have to invoke this method. Let's look at the on initialized async, right? Here they clearly said, right, on initialized and on initialized async methods are the perfect place to load data. So that's why we are using this method to load the data. So I think we got the data loader. We got the chart here. So a couple of things, right? You can see this t item. T item represents the type of the data that's going to be passed. In this case, right, we're going to pass my data type, my data as a type. So t item should be my data, and then items should be the data collection. So in this case, right, the list, this data collection, the data is the data collection that holds the data that needs to be passed. So we're using the data. In the line chart, right, I think they're using a bar chart. This example is for the bar chart. We can, yeah, let me go. Okay, let's test it out and then I can share it. So we have two apex point series, but I think we don't need to. So let me go ahead and comment one. Let's see what happens. So let's go to the web project. That's our main, that has the main main class. That's going to be the startup project in our case. So let's do a .NET build. We have a couple of warnings that should be okay. So, and then let's do a .NET run. Okay. Got this one. Okay, we got this page. Okay, cool. We got the data. We have, I think we have the bar chart here. I think January, month of, we have 3 months, January, February, and March, I believe. Let's go ahead and I'll kill this one and then unblock this one too. Let's see what happens. There will be another, right now we saw profit, and then there will be a one more bar for revenue. So, okay, let's do a .NET run. Okay, yeah, you can see, right, you can see this is profit, this is revenue, profit and revenue. So yeah, profit and revenue. We can change it to line graph to see how it looks like. Yeah, that's a quick thing. So this is series type, right? The series type, you want to make it as a line. Let's go ahead and do a dotnet run one more time. Okay, there it is. We got the line chart created. That's cool. So we're gonna repurpose the same chart, and then we're gonna push our data, that's generation data that we pull from the database, into this chart and then display it. To do that, right, we're gonna start with 1 point series. Yeah, let's keep this one. Yeah, let me go ahead and maybe comment it out. Let's go back here. We'll keep these things. We have the generation data list, right? That's going to be the complete data list, but that has the actual as well as a forecast. So we're gonna split it. So we're gonna create two lists. It's going to be the list of same thing, type of generation data, and then we're gonna call it as actual generation data list. And then the second, let's copy this one. The second will be the forecast. Okay, so forecast, let's go here. We don't need this one, so I'm gonna comment it out here, right here. Let's check the first piece is, right, check whether we have any data. If the data is greater than, if the count is greater than 0, then we're gonna pull. We have data for different date range, right? I'm gonna pull data for 1 day as a default day, and then we I can assign it to the actual generation data list as well as forecast generation data list. So we have data from, I think we have like 16. If we go scroll all the way, it will go all the way till 10th, I believe. So let's set the default data as 10th. So I'm gonna say date time. We're gonna call it as 1 day equal to new date time. Just like 10 0. So it's going to we're going to filter out the data for the 10th and then assign it to these two lists. So let's start with this one. We're going to use the where filter, where gd equal gd dot, we got the date dt, right? First, I would say this is the actual, right? We're going to keep it true. We're going to pull only the actual data, and then gd dot dt dot date. We're going to focus only on the date, not the time. Same thing here, 1 day that date to list. Okay, so the next one is the forecast generation data list. Okay, same thing mostly. We're going to make a one small change. The actual, it's not an actual, so set it as false. Okay. Okay, we got the data for these two things. Okay, let's go back to the chart here. We're going to change a couple of things. So this is going to be, the title will be trend chart. I'll make it as a trend chart. The type will be generation data. So change this to generation data. We'll start with one single point series. I will start with the actual point series. Okay, it's missing a namespace. So we're gonna use electric trend model. Hopefully, yep. it's able to recognize generation data now. So that's good. In our cases, right, the data collection is different. The data collection is actual generation data list. So let's go ahead and use this one. Same thing, the T item will be generation data. Yeah. The variable is going to be different. We want to display the date and time in the x-axis, and then generated megawatt as in the y-axis. Okay, the only thing is I generated megawatt is like I cannot convert double to decimal. It takes y-axis as a decimal. We have to do a it's explicit typecast. Let's do this one. Convert it into a decimal. This should work. Okay, looks good. Do a dotnet run. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so we got the data. So the data shows up. Only thing is that we have to fix the label. Let's go ahead and fix the label. Let's go all the way down so we can see the timestamp, right? So it's for 1 day for this 2024 June 10th. We got the data. So, so everything looks good. This is a 24-hour data. So let's go ahead and fix the label. So the name is right. So this is the label. So this is actual megawatt. We can call it as actual megawatt. Yeah. Let's go ahead and delete this one. I think I can copy this one. So let's go ahead and copy this one. A couple of changes. I'm going to start with make the change forecasted megawatt. So the variable, the data collection that we're going to use is forecast data, forecast generation data list. So we can use it here. Okay, so yeah, we got both the point series updated. Only thing I would just want to make sure explicitly I'm going to force the application to say, hey, refresh the DOM, so that that updates gets reflected on the UI. So this is the method that could be used. So I will explicitly use that to make sure, okay, the data is getting pushed to the UI. Okay, looks good. Let's do a clear. I'm going to do a .NET run. Okay, there it is. So we got the data here, so we can see, right, the forecasted is okay for the hour 2. The forecasted value is 6712, and then the actual is 6654. It's the same for everything. So yeah, we got the chart with data, and then we got the x-axis full of time series. That is date and time. Okay, that's cool. So far, good. Let me do the cleanup, so we don't need this one. Let's quickly clean it up. So I don't need this one. I don't need this one, and then I don't need this one. Let's go ahead and add a few more things. So let's go ahead and add a couple of things. First thing is, right, so we have this one, right, this data list. Okay, it's a good practice, right? Check for this variable, check for this data collection. If there is no data in this, right, we could actually display a message saying, hey, the UI is loading, so that, right, it's so that the user experience good UI feeling. Okay, I'm gonna start with the @ symbol, so to represent the code, it's a code behind. Okay, here, right, we're gonna say loading. Okay, we can test it out for just a brief second. You will see a loading, and then once the data gets loaded, uh, it will show the graph. So yeah, maybe we can actually make it explicit. So task that delay 100 microseconds. It's going to wait for 100 microseconds, so that, right, we should be able to see it properly. So let's do a dotnet run. See this? Yeah, you saw that loading briefly, right? So yeah, if we are pulling a ton of data, and then if the backend process is taking a lot of time, rather than uh, displaying the broken page, right, we could display a user-friendly message saying it's loading, so that the user understands, okay, we have to wait for a few seconds to view the chart. That's a good practice to do it. So we got this one, so I no longer need the delay. So we have done this one. The next one is, right, I would prefer, right now we have a data from 10th till all the way 19th, and maybe I would prefer to give a drop down list option to the user, so that they can display pick a different time range, and then based on that, the chart can get refreshed. So I'm going to use a drop down list. So yeah, let's go ahead and yeah, have the article here for a drop down in the Blazor, right? Blazor doesn't have any specific UI component. We're going to use the HTML based drop down. A couple of changes, right? Since we spoke, right, that within the HTML, right, we could use a code behind directly using the @ symbol, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that. Um, this is a select, right? So let's go ahead and create a select. And then the next one is the option value. I'm going to display it as select. I'm going to say choose date, select disabled. Okay, the next one is, right, we have, okay, this is going to be this will be the skeleton of the drop down. We need the data for the drop down, right? So what we have to do is, right, we can pull the unique date from the generation data list. So we're gonna use a group by function. uh, yeah Group by, the link you group by to group based on the date time, and then get the unique date and then load it into a list. So I'm going to create a new list variable, private list of string. I'm saying date list. Okay, so we got the date list. We're going to use it here. Okay, I'm going to use the query style link queue for to do a group by. So I'm going to do a var group data. So I'm going to use from the variable. I'm going to use the same variable gd in. The collection, and then I'm going to use a group gd by gd dot date, gd dot it's date time, dot date. I have to move the grouped object into an variable that's going to be a G. The next one is right. So we're gonna create a new dynamic type for grouping. Right, we will have two pieces: the key, that is the grouped, the key that is being used to group the collection, uh, and then the next one is the list after the grouping. So we'll start with the key. So the key will be get key equal to G dot, yeah, key. The next one will be the data list. Data list equal G dot to list. Okay, so to list. Yeah, let's go ahead and print it on the console so you can see what it is. So I would say where grouped item dot, let's do a console dot write ln, say the date. We want this one. So dates are in the key, date key that I'm gonna make it display it as two short date string, not like this. Right. And I think I will need one more closing double quote. So I think it looks good. So here, right, we are grouping it based on the data date, and then we'll get the list. So in the group data, right, I will have key as a date, and then we have value as the list of data. I'm not going to focus on the list of data, so we're going to focus only on the date because the date needs to be displayed on the drop down. So let's do a clear and then do a dotnet run. Yeah, we got this one. This is going to be Tuesday. There's no data because we haven't bound the data collection to the drop down list. So there it is. So we have the unique dates starting from 6/10/2024 till 6/19/2024. Okay. Okay. So we got this one. So the next one is right. The collection is date list. It's a collection, right? So we're going to use the for each, iterate the collection, and then create an option item for each date. So it will be like we start. So since we are using this HTML tag, right? So we're going to use @ symbol to represent this is a code behind for each string date item in date item in. Okay. Option value. I want to display this value in the value field. So the option should have two pieces. So here, right, if you look at here, the option will have two pieces. The the name the name piece that will be displayed on the UI, and the value piece that can be a different thing. In this case, right, you can see, right, the region name is the value that's being displayed to the user. That's a user-friendly name, and the region ID is the one that can be used behind the scene. In our case, right, we don't have two different key value pair. It's the same thing. So we're going to use the same data item in name as well as value. So it will be like this. Yeah, let's go ahead and run. Okay, right, there it is. Okay, something is not correct. Let's revisit one more time. So maybe there it is, because we haven't added the value into the list. That is causing the issue. So let's go ahead and add the values to the list. So we have to, yeah, we can use this one. Okay, so here, yeah, let's go to the article. This is provide, yeah, title. There is a title here. Let's try title, date. Okay, so yeah, if you want date to be displayed here, yeah, we can do it. We can add a span to get it done. So right now I'm going to keep it as is. So we have the different dates available. The next one is, right, if the user selects a date, the chart needs to be refreshed. That's the piece we're going to work on. So if you have worked on HTML UI, right, so this is a drop down, right? So so the action is, right, when I click or when I change the item, right, the chart needs to be refreshed. So we have an event that's called on change event. Whenever the user changes the value, we could trigger an event like this. We will trigger an event. The event will trigger a method. In the method, right, we could perform our actions. So let's go ahead and do this. So on change, right, so we can go ahead and do the similar kind of a thing. Let's say we can go ahead and create an on. So since the code behind, right, we'll start with add symbol on change. So selected value or on value changed, something like that. On value changed. Okay, so we're gonna use, okay, we will use the asynchronous method. So asynchronous task, the method name, and then here, right, we saw, right, it's we have to pass change event args as a parameter. Let's go ahead and do this. For quick testing, right, so we can go ahead and display the values. So let's call it as an args. Let me comment that out. Let's see what happens. .NET. Let's do a .NET run. Okay, let me. Okay, I thought that would be an option to clear. Okay, clear terminal. There it is. Okay. Yeah, there it is. I select 12. It shows the selected value as 12. That's good. Let me select 15. 19. Okay, that's good. This piece worked. So once I select the value, based on the selected value, the chart needs to be refreshed. That's what we are going to work on. So I will go ahead and create another method, async method, private async task filter and bind data. It will take a string date, so str date. Okay. Same thing. If there is data, if the generation data list has data, we could do the same here. So let's copy it here. Let me create a datetime. That is date to filter. I have the string date here, right? I have to convert it into a date time. So we have a method called datetime dot parse. Yeah, there it is, parse. That could take string as an, yeah, you can see, right, string as a input parameter, and then it could return a datetime as a output, provided it's a valid datetime string. So we have this one, datetime to filter. Okay, so we have this one. Okay, we have the data ready, and the next piece is, right, go back to the documentation, and then if we want to do an update a series, because, right, we get the we're going to filter the data list, get the new values, and then we have to pass the refresh the chart. For refreshing the chart, right, so we have this yeah, there is a method called update chart, update series async method, so that we are going to use it. So they say, right, okay, if there is, if somebody explicitly wants to update a chart, they can load the new data and then uh, call this update series async method to do the refresh. For this, right, we're going to start with there is a chart variable, and then we're going to use reference, show that it's like a reference concept. Okay, we can get a hook of the chart from in the code behind. So we have a chart on the razor page, but if you want to get a hook of the chart on the code behind, then we have to use the reference, so that we could actually manipulate the chart from the code behind. So let's go ahead and create the variable and then hook it up via the reference. So let's go back here. So let's do a private. This is an Apex chart. So this chart is of type generation data. This is the data that we are going to pass, because if you look at the T item, right? This is the TM item, right? So okay, so okay, let's look at that later. So let's finish this one. So I'm going to name it as Apex chart. We got this variable created. So we need to hook it up as a reference, right? So let's go ahead and do that here, right? Let's do add reference. Okay, there it is, Apex chart. So we got the reference here. Let's go back to the documentation one second, right? So get the latest data and then do this out, right? So let's copy this guy. So Our variable is apex chart. So let's do apex chart update series. Okay. I just want to make sure, okay, explicitly push the changes. That is, always use state has changed to make sure, okay, we are explicitly refreshing the needed controls. I think this should work, I think. So I think looks great. Okay, let's go ahead and try it out. .NET run. Yeah, it's okay. Bunch of possible null reference value, null reference warnings. Let's go back here. Get with the default date. So look at this one, right? So for the hour 2, so we have the value of 6554 and 12. The date is 610. Let's do 612. Okay, we missed one more thing. So we have this uh, filter and bind data, but we did not invoke it. Let's go ahead and invoke it. It should, since it's an async method, right? So we have to start with a white, and then yeah, let's pass this value here. Okay. 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 Let's go to trend. Let's look at the data. So it's 54 and 12. Yeah, yeah, it's 610. Let's do 612. Okay, there it is, 612. Let's do 1, 2. Yeah, the value got changed. So it's right now display 625. Let's do pick 14. Yeah, it's getting refreshed. The chart is getting refreshed. So that's cool. So I think we are able to accomplish what we want. I think let me go ahead and okay. Let's go back here. Yeah, this one, right? Go through this article. It provides the life cycle of the Blazor components. It is really important. So, and then we have this state has changed, right? This method will trigger a component re-render, right? That's why when we want to re-render any component, right, we have to use this method, saying, hey, we have an updated data or something, so we want to update the component, so force the re-render, right? So this method should be used to do it. Okay, that's all I got. Yeah, let's summarize. Yeah, in this video, right, we were able to uh, implement a chart, the line chart, using the sample data first, and then, right, we were able to uh, filter out filter out the data based on the actual and the date, and then store it in a two different collection. And then we were able to create two different point series, and then assign the data collection to those point series, and then able to display the data. And then to add to it, right, we were able to implement a drop-down list that displayed all the unique date values. And then based on the user selection, we were able to trigger the on value change. It's a change event. And then we were able to filter out the collection based on the date selected by the user, get the values back. And then we were able to uh, invoke the update series async method to refresh the chart. And also we were using the state has changed method to uh, force the update. And then yeah, pretty much that's it, I think. So That's all I got. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thank you.